Clare Daly.
Thanks, Concordia. We've heard a lot of talk about how the fight has gone out of Irish people, how we've lost the will to protest. Well, I think the crowds that have mobilised around this issue from every part of the country really say that that is not the case. And, you know, one of the Fine Gael deputies said that the Irish Postmasters Union should be congratulated that they've made us realise that it's something that we might lose. The reality is what the people who've mobilised have let this government know is that you might lose your seats if you don't get the finger out and do something about this issue. It's as crude as that, because we're subjected in this House day after day to a phenomenal amount of doublespeak. I would actually say it's the hallmark of this government, epitomised by Minister Shatter himself. On paper, ye say one thing, but your actions deliver something entirely different. On paper, you say that the post offices will not close, but the reality is that by your actions and the steps that this government is taking, the viability of rural post offices is under threat, and that, I'm sorry to say, is a fact. Now, figures have been given how over the past period 200 rural post offices have been lost. Deputies on the government benches have tried to say that the threat identified by Grant Thornton of a further 600 closures and a job losses of 3,000 is no more, that you're on top of it, that it's just been exaggerated. I don't believe that that is the case. I honestly believe that the threat is real because of what's gone on over the past period. Now, I have to say I am a bit sickened by the game playing between the government parties. We obviously saw over the weekend the leaked memo whereby the Fine Gael party were trying to mobilise their backbenchers to cover their own tracks, to send out letters and emails to blame Minister Rabbitte in a cynical manoeuvre that would say it's nothing got to do with Fine Gael. Obviously that caused huge disquiet to the ranks of the Labour Party, who are up in arms tonight, the likes of which I haven't seen over any other issue, despite the appalling policies that that party has stood over the past period. Now, the reality is that while this government may say that they have no agenda to close the post offices, ye have no strategy to keep them open, and your inaction will kill them unless you take stock. And I really say it's a bit rich now to be, you know, congratulating Eamon Gilmore and Joan Burton for the social welfare and passport contracts that actually predated them. This issue affects everybody. It's not just a rural issue. In my own constituency, which has semi-rural parts to it, towns like Rush have been absolutely decimated. These communities have lost a bank, a Garda station, they've had their library hours cut in a cynical manoeuvre, and now they have their post office being threatened by Tesco's. And the idea that the Labour Party would stand over a massive multinational benefiting from this hollowing out of villages is reprehensible. And this community, many of whom are present in the Dáil tonight, have been collecting petitions and objecting in the strongest possible terms, precisely because if the post office goes, other things will follow. And, you know, multinational superstores have hollowed out already. They've been a threat to record shops, bookshops, pharmacies, bakeries, and now the post offices are in their sight. And maybe the blue shirts are happy with that, that when people collect their social welfare checks, they can spend their money on Tesco's. Well, the people of Ireland aren't happy with that. The people outside the gates aren't happy. I'm delighted that the government backbenchers are under pressure, because he should be, because the people won't stand for it.